Joining us now from Nashville, Tennessee is Associate Professor Sara Hsu with the State University of New York at New Paltz. So Sara, want to get your take on this latest news. Chinese side said that the talks went fairly well. The U.S. side described them as constructive, but they ended rather quickly this round. What is your read on it?
Well, they obviously haven't gotten far enough to reach some sort of agreement. And the fact that President Trump does not see this process as urgent is of real concern. It indicates that he's willing to go on with this trade war as long as it takes to get the Chinese to come to the table. President Trump seems to believe that the tariffs are going to harm the Chinese more than the Americans, and I think that he's really mistaken in terms of the people who are actually going to end up paying the price.
Tariffs went into effect at midnight. China also promising to retaliate. What do you think we'll see from Beijing?
I think that China is likely to impose tariffs on U.S. imports, and there's going to be a sort of tit-for-tat trade war like we saw in recent months. And there's no end in sight right now, which is really concerning, especially for the stock market, as well as for a lot of business owners, certainly for consumers who are going to be now going to the store and paying a lot more than they expected because the producers won't be able to hold back on passing on those costs anymore.
You mentioned no end in sight. Do you think that these trade talks can continue despite the increase in tariffs and what we have yet to see come down the road?
Well, there has been, a misunderstanding from the outset or disagreement from the outset. The U.S. asks were really big. Many of the asks requiring China to change their laws, change their pace of reform and market opening. And China has also denied some of the allegations, such as forced technology transfer, which means that there's certainly a mismatch. China is very unlikely to change its laws really quickly. When it's trying to implement reforms just on its own, it struggles to do so in a timely manner. But with the U.S. requiring it to do so, it seems even more unlikely that they're going to speed up this process. And so I think it's going to really take a lot more negotiation, and I don't know if an agreement is in sight right now.
We know that the G20 is coming up next month in Japan. Back in November, Presidents Xi and Trump kind of worked something out on the sidelines in Argentina. Is it possible that they meet face to face again and come together on some things?
It is possible, and if that does happen, if there is some sort of agreement to stave off tariffs or pause tariffs for a short time, then what it means is that the U.S. can only negotiate through its top leader, through President Trump, because all negotiations through his administration have not been going well. And so it may come down to President Trump and President Xi trying to work things out on their own. Hopefully, the administration will recognize that that's the best way to go about it. It's not clear whether they're going to actually come to some sort of agreement, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, Sara Hsu in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.